Here at Twin Peaks, it is the next round, most of us. Dunaway's still on vacation. He is Lance Taylor. I'm Ryan Brown. Lance retweeting. You retweet as well. We would greatly appreciate that. Those of you watching us on YouTube, give us the old thumbs up there on YouTube. Make sure you have liked and subscribed and done all the things we ask you to do. Thumbs up, set your alerts, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on social media at Next Round Live, at Next Round Live. It is draft night, so we're hanging out here at Twin Peaks for just a little bit and talk with you guys. We'll catch up with you in the chat. Blake, I'm going to go to him right away just to show you how it works. He's on YouTube. Was watching the rewind today. Never knew Springer was involved in a scandal. The things you learn on the next round.
Well, that's what we do, Blake.
We try to educate.
Useless knowledge.
Yep. I mean,
we enlightened you on some 80s trivia. Now I will never forget that Denise Williams actually sang the song that sounded like Whitney Houston.
I could
Let's do it for the boys.
I could have guessed for months and not gotten.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten it either.
Yeah.
And again, I think I know 90% of that genre.
What, the 80s pop hits?
80s
basically?
pop and rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good on it. Well, I say pretty good. I don't know. I mean, I'm probably.
I mean, I was on a roll until you asked that one question.
Yeah, I mean, I got you with Denise Williams. Let's hear it for the boys. Why did I always think that was Whitney Houston? Because she sounded like Whitney?
I got.
Was it just in that genre?
Yeah, it just sounded just like Whitney. I got.
That's a compliment to her.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
I got the Mr.
Yep.
I got the Talking Heads.
Yep.
And I got John Waite.
That is right.
Yeah. So I got 3 out of 4.
Yeah. That's not bad.
So,
I'm going to win you some money on Jeopardy.
I will tell you this, man. I was thinking about this strangely. We will see tonight in the NFL draft war rooms from all 32 teams.
That's right.
I would probably pay more to be in a war room for the first 2 or 3 rounds than I would pay to go to a big game. I know I would.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Now, define big game. Like big regular season game? So Rams playing Seahawks?
I would much rather be in the war room today.
The Rams Seahawks. But like
you know what? Actually, I would if the Rams were playing in the Super Bowl, I think I would rather be in the war room.
Then a Rams Super Bowl?
I mean, I've been to 3 Rams Super Bowls.
That's humble brag.
No, I'm just saying. So nobody ever has access to a war room.
That's a good point. You're right about that. Yeah.
Like, I mean, what would it take? Like, who is the biggest celebrity NFL fan? Like Jack Nicholson was that guy for the Lakers.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think who is a massive. So like Rams fans, I know the Ty. What was the dude from Modern Family? Ty.
Oh, Eric Stone Street.
No, it's the Ty guy, Ty Burrell.
Well, Stone Street's a big Kansas City fan.
Yeah, but Ty Burrell's a big Rams fan.
Yeah.
Craig T. Nelson's a big Rams fan. Not a lot of Rams fans.
The Dolphins had a lot of minor, like really
with Jimmy Buffett,
minority
right?
owners. Yeah, Jimmy Buffett was Johnny Depp.
Gloria Estefan.
Yeah, so I thought Miami's probably your team there.
Do you think they would have let them in?
Oh yeah. Especially them because they had a little bit of an ownership.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, if you got invited, you'd do it, right?
If I got invited, I would do it. I've never really thought, God, I'd love to be in the war room. I wonder if you've like over dramatized it, if it's not near as good as you think it is.
I bet there is so much because those guys put so much work into this draft. I mean, they've been working on it for years, really.
Yeah.
And you go in there and you've got a guy that you want. And
right.
Just imagine you're at pick 38.
Okay.
And you want Hendon Hooker. And you're just praying. And the team before you, 2 or 3 teams before you, they have quarterback needs too. And you can't make a move and you're just sitting there. And you're just watching it scroll, and Hendon Hooker comes up, your night's ruined.
Well, I mean, you would be the guy they don't want in the war room because you'd be like, hey.
I know.
And here it comes. No. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Yeah, you would be the guy they don't want.
I would be that guy. Hey, Can I tell you a couple of things about Twin Peaks?
Please do. We're obviously there's only one location in Birmingham, but if you don't know where it is, Hoover, just off the Galleria flyover, right behind the Galleria, right there in Patton Creek in Hoover. Is where we are, just off of I-459 at Twin Peaks. We're going to be here till 7. We're live on here till 6.
So Twin Peaks, and we've done multiple shows from this location and the Buckhead location.
That is correct.
We appreciate James, Stephanie, everybody allowing us to come out with our friends at Bud Light, which we've got swag here. We've got some Bud Light specials. But Twin Peaks, more than your typical sports bar, you got the Twin Peak girls serving up scratch food, their signature 29-degree beers. I'm enjoying a Bud Light at 29 degrees. Just feel that, bro.
Nice and cool. Yeah, it feels 29 degrees.
Yeah.
Is what it does.
I think it is. I think it's 29 degrees.
Good old Bud Light.
But come in right now. Twin Peaks is on the clock. You can catch all of the NFL draft action at the Ultimate Sports Lodge. Round 1's going to kick off 7 o'clock tonight. Thank you very much. See this, the service that you get.
Can I get some more Diet Coke, please? Thank you, ma'am.
But yeah, come join us. We're right behind the Galleria, Patton Creek Shopping Centers, Twin Peaks. We're going to be here, as Brown said, till 7 o'clock. So looking forward to the draft tonight. You and I really have nothing for our teams to look forward to unless for some reason there is a massive trade. And
yeah, there's no real rumor about my team trading up. There is a rumor about your team trading up.
There's a rumor about the Rams trading into the first round and going after a quarterback because Matt Stafford, I mean, really, it's an unknown how he's going to come back from this injury. Because it was a spinal injury, and he says he's 100%. But even if he is, he's 35 years old. He's won a Super Bowl. He's made a ton of money, and he's only got one more year on his contract. So I think that was for her, right? Yeah. That's okay. That's good. We got it.
It'll get consumed.
Yeah. Don't worry about that. Yeah. So, I think the Rams could do that. I think the interesting thing to look for your team tonight could be some type of trade with the Minnesota Vikings for Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, which might go down tonight to get,
something
like a second round pick or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what. And I mean, as a Dolphins fan, if you could get Dalvin Cook for a second round.
Yeah, I'm almost to the point where I'd almost rather, and you can't do this, you can't build a team this way. I'd almost rather build a team entirely out of trades and free agency than the draft, just because they're known commodities. Now the problem is you're getting them, and you don't get a full career out of them. You're basically getting the end of their career, but still. Like, I'm heavy draft free agency guy. I much prefer, like Jalen Ramsey. We got Jalen Ramsey in a trade. I know what Jalen Ramsey is. Like, I don't even know who the best corner in this draft is, but I can tell you what he's not. He's not Jalen Ramsey. And I didn't mean to pick a scab there. I know you loved him, and we traded your team for him, but that's the way I'd rather do it. You know what I'm saying?
And I think it is Joey Porter Jr. or Christian Gonzalez. Gonzalez will go before Porter Jr. Porter Jr. is probably back into the first round. But, yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't know. I used to get so excited because the Rams were always picking at the top 10. I mean,
the Dolphins have been there a lot. Yeah, trust me.
And I'm trying to think. Orlando Pace, we drilled that. I'm using we, by the way. I don't know how did that vote turn out?
I can look. Hang on.
Yeah. Orlando Pace, that worked out. Trying to think, who was the big tackle for Auburn? I can't think of his name.
Wayne Gandy
was pretty good for a while.
Oh, gosh. Why can I not say his name, Lance? He played Willie Anderson, played for Cincinnati.
No, not Willie Anderson.
I know. I'm going through the ones. Kendall Simmons played for Pittsburgh.
It was a dude that played for the national championship team in 2010. This is a left tackle, Greg Robinson.
Robinson. Yeah. There you go. Gosh, why can I not say that?
He was terrible. Alex Barron, terrible.
Yeah, Florida State, right?
Fred Miller. Well, Fred Miller was okay. Todd Gurley was great until he got paid.
Yeah, you did not like him after that.
No, I did not.
Probably your least favorite Ram in the time I've been around you.
Well, I mean, he was one of my favorites because he was a guy that if he would have been healthy, I have no doubt in my mind that New England loses to the Rams in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But, without that element, they didn't really have a chance. And Cooper Kupp was out that game too.
Right.
Cooper Kupp, though, these are the things that are fun about the draft. I remember when Cooper Kupp was drafted, that people were saying this guy's a hidden gem. His measurables dropped him down. He played at Eastern Washington, so he didn't play against the best competition. He ran a 4.6 40 in Indianapolis, but he had all of the intangibles you want in a football player, and he has worked his ass off, and now he's arguably the best receiver in the game.
How aware were you of him when the Rams drafted him?
A little bit.
Right. You watched him in Eastern Washington?
Eastern Washington. I'd seen a little bit of him. I knew they were kind of interested in him. And Les Snead tells a fascinating story that they were scared to death that he was going to go right before them.
Who had it? Do you remember the pick?
I don't remember because, that was 2017.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I can look. I can tell you. Well, first of all, the poll turned out this way. 73% of the voters said it is not obnoxious when people refer to their team as we.
Okay.
So 27% said it is obnoxious. So I say we keep going.
We don't have a selection tonight.
Do not have a first-round selection. My most famous one, Lance, was when the Dolphins picked Laramie Tunsil because he was falling in that draft after the Bong video came out, and he was just falling, and the Dolphins are creeping up, and I'm like, we're 100% going to draft him because we could use offensive line, and this guy's a steal.
I will tell you, anytime somebody gets docked for smoking weed, you want and they drop in draft stock, you want to draft them.
Yeah, I got no problem with it.
I've only heard of three that I can remember. It was Tunsil, it was Warren Sapp, and it was Randy Moss. And how did those three turn out?
They were really, really good.
I mean, Sapp and Moss are Hall of Famers,
Yep.
and Tunsil could end up being a Hall of Famer.
I mean, he's had a good career. All right, so Cooper Kupp was a third-round draft pick in that draft, the 2017 draft. Lance?
Yeah, I think it was like 88th, maybe.
That is not accurate. Let me see.
Okay.
Where is that now? Where is it now, Lance? Where is it now? 69.
Okay.
Oh, wow. How about this? You know who went 2 spots in front of him?
Who?
Pick 67. Tell me if this was a good pick. At 67, Alvin Kamara. How good a pick was that at 67?
So the scouts.
I mean, y'all could have had Alvin Kamara. Would you rather have Cooper Kupp?
I'd rather have Cooper Kupp.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Alvin Kamara, though, great player. But the scouts are comparing Jahmyr Gibbs, who some people believe will slip into the first round tonight.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've got 2 local guys that are going to be in the first round, and Bryce Young and Will Anderson. Both of those guys should go in the top 5. But then Brian Branch is interesting, and so is Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, Alabama, again, could have 4 first-round guys.
Yeah, they really could. On a what, you know, I mean, in the Saban era has been a little bit of a down team. You know who went in the 5th round in that draft? I'm just digging through that draft now. George Kittle. How about, I mean, how much of a steal was that in the 5th round? Pick 146 out of Iowa. George
you're not going to have tight ends that fall through the cracks anymore. We've got 5 tight ends in this draft that will go in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah.
So people are after George Kittle-like guys.
I love looking back at old drafts.
Dalton Kincaid out of Utah could be that guy.
Oh, yeah? You think so?
Mm-hmm. He's really good.
The last big name to go in that 2017 draft just randomly was Aaron Jones to the Packers out of UTEP. Aaron Jones played at UTEP, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah, he was in the 5th round of that draft. Pick 182. Pretty good running back for the Packers.
Again, every round is going to have somebody that is going to have a successful NFL career.
Yep. Let's hit some comments here. You can drop comments in the comment section. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to give us that old thumbs up. You hopefully have subscribed to our YouTube channel. If not, go ahead and do that and set your alerts so you know when we're live. We're live again tomorrow at 3 o'clock for an Ask Us Anything from out at Barber Motorsports Park with the Indy race there at Barber's. I'm going to do a non-football question real quick. Ryan says, Brown, I'm going to the Regents Tradition. Where on the course is the best place to put a seat down and enjoy it? There's a lot of good places. You know, around 18, you don't get a chance to put a seat down on 18. Most of that is like, bleacher seating. But around 18 is always a good place to go. I would say behind the 16th green. That's a pretty good place to hang out. So I would suggest one of those 2, behind 16 or behind 18.
I like going to what is it? Is it where did we broadcast from last year?
Number 10. They got the watering hole there. If you get a spot in there, that's good.
That's great.
I can't remember
where the casino tent was Superior last year.
Yeah, that's where we're going to be, but I can't remember who's doing it.
Yeah, like I have no idea because it was Casino Forever, and then it was Superior, which was one and the same.
Right. They told me who was doing it, but I can't remember who. So that's where we will be. As you can see, our friends at Bud Light behind us there, doing a little marketing. That's our guy Cameron for Bud Light. Chip says this, Lance is an Indianapolis native. Obviously, I'm a Colts fan outside of C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young. Do you think they'd really waste the 4th spot on either Levis or Richardson? I think it would be a disaster.
Oh, I think Indianapolis likes Levis a lot. Yeah, it might be. I think I've seen more Levis at 4 than I've seen C.J. Stroud. I don't think I've seen Richardson to the Colts. I've seen Richardson to the Seahawks. I don't know if you can pull these draft odds. I wonder.
The ones we were doing earlier today.
Well, I just wonder. Like, there's definitely a prop on who goes first, Anthony Richardson or C.J. Stroud.
Give me a minute, I'll do that.
I just this is gonna be fascinating. I need C.J. Stroud to drop.
What you desperately need. It's not going to guarantee C.J. Stroud out of the first round, but it is or out of the top 5. But it's going to help you is if Houston goes defense.
Yeah,
because Arizona's going to go defense after that if they don't trade. So now you're down to 2 picks basically.
Yeah, exactly. If Tyree Wilson or Will Anderson goes number 2 to the Texans, the disaster is going to be if somebody trades up to that 2 slot because they're going quarterback.
What number are you looking for? Just odds to be a top 5 pick?
No, you can do that. I was just looking for who comes off the board first, C.J. Stroud or Anthony Richardson.
Well, I can do it this way. C.J. Stroud is 3rd among the odds to go overall number 1. Bryce Young is still minus 5,000. C.J. Stroud plus 3,000 on that. To go number 2, It is still Will Anderson minus 230. Is that, I mean, that's creeping up, isn't it?
Yeah, he's going number 2.
CJ Stroud plus 470 on that one. To go number 3, CJ Stroud minus 115. Will Levis plus 460. But see, that's Arizona, number 3, so they're thinking trade.
Arizona is trying everything in their power right now to trade back.
Well, if they don't, then they'll pass, and Stroud will be very likely to go number 4. I should say very likely, but if he's the odds on to go 3, he would probably be the odds on to go 4.
Yeah, right? I need this to be one of these Aaron Rodgers, Justin Fields. I need it to be the camera continues to go on CJ Stroud. I don't want the kid to fall too far. Actually, I'd like him to fall just go 6.
Yeah. You got a ton of props. Like, here is the prop that's got the worst odds, the shortest odds for you to make money on. 2+ running backs and 5+ quarterbacks drafted in the first round.
5+ quarterbacks?
Yep.
What is
2+ running backs and 5+ quarterbacks. So you would you would need Bijan Robinson and Jameer Gibbs in all likelihood, right? That's shop 2.
And you're going to need Hooker with the other guys.
Need Hooker to sneak up at the bottom there. That's plus 110. I mean, that's the shortest odds you're going to find, plus 110.
I would not take that.
All right. Jackson Smith and Jigba, first wide receiver drafted.
I do like that.
All right, hang on. Tyree Wilson, first defender drafted.
Don't like that.
Paris Johnson. All right.
Paris Johnson will be the first tackle.
All right. So you didn't like Tyree Wilson there.
I'm not. I think it's too much of a reach. Again, you're all about upside. If you've got the number 2 overall pick, I think D'Amico Ryans is way too smart. Way too smart. And I think they've done due diligence. Will Anderson is going to be the number 2 pick. I'm telling you, that's going to be the story tonight. Well, it won't be the story because something crazy will happen. But I don't know if this has ever happened in the history of the draft. Has a team had 1 and 2?
I don't know. I mentioned that earlier today about how big it would be for Alabama. I can't remember a time it has happened. I mean, you would think Miami possibly could have done it back in the day. Ohio State would be a team you'd look at.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe Army in the 30s and 40s.
Maybe Army in the common draft era, which is after the merger. I would say it hasn't happened. How you like this? Bijan Robinson top 10 pick, Jameer Gibbs first round pick combo. That's plus 160. You worry about Gibbs there?
I'm worried about Gibbs.
Well, I mean, are you worried about Bijan Robinson being in the top 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then you don't like that one at
all.
I
think Atlanta could take him at 9, but he's a top 10 talent, but general managers, for whatever reason, refuse to take running backs that high.
I mean, they do have a short shelf life now. Jalen Carter, top 5 pick. Bijan Robinson, top 10 pick.
Well, I will tell you this. If Jalen Carter is top 5, I'm winning that bet.
Yep. Here's one for you. Hendon Hooker, drafted by either the Titans or the Raiders. They don't mention your Rams. Titans or Raiders, that is plus 230.
Man, that's not really heavy. I mean, it almost tells me that one of those 2 teams is going to take him.
I mean, that would be – the Raider – either place is interesting for Hendon Hooker. At Tennessee, obviously you got the crossover between Tennessee fans and Tennessee Titans fans, right? I mean, he would be a very popular pick there. That would be interesting to see that one. All right, let's go.
Hey, listen to this real quick.
Right.
So I was just doing some draft history.
Right.
That's what I was pulling on my phone. In the early 30s, Stan Koska had an excellent college career as University of Minnesota running back. I guess this is when they won 3 consecutive.
Yeah, they used to be dominant back at the day.
Led the Gophers to an undefeated season in 1934. Every NFL team wanted to sign him. Koska took advantage of the lack of a draft, held out for the highest possible offer. Guess what he ended up getting his contract? With the Brooklyn Dodgers, by the way.
$2,500.
$5,000 contract.
I was going to say $5,000.
And this was a bidding war, they say.
A bidding war to get him up to $5,000.
Yeah. And I'm trying to
Different
see.
world back then, wasn't it?
Yeah, when the draft came into the fold, I think that was right after the first draft, 1936.
Yeah, and the common draft was 69 or 70.
Hey, at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Philadelphia, first draft. And it was in February.
The old Ritz-Carlton. You remember, when it first came on TV, that was like during the day on a Thursday, wasn't it?
Dude, I would love to be able to go back in time to 1936.
Right.
And sit at the hotel bar at the Ritz-Carlton and watch the draft.
And just listen to it.
I guess you wouldn't have seen it on TV.
You would not have.
I wonder if anybody broadcast it on the radio. You think they did?
No, probably not. I don't think people thought it was that big a deal at the time. What?
First ever player selected?
In the Jay Burwinger.
Very good.
Was that it?
That was.
How about that?
Yeah. I've seen that before, but yeah, that was good.
I just remember his name. He was a big stud back in the day. You've never been to a draft, have you? Would you? I know if you want to go to a war room, but you don't want to go to the draft, huh?
Well, the draft to me is almost like Mardi Gras. It just seems like a mass of people, like nut to butt.
Right.
and just obnoxious. Like, there doesn't seem like there's any organization when it comes to the fans at the draft.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. Agree with you.
When they did it in Nashville a couple of years ago, it looked like it was a great time.
Yeah.
But I wanted to have that great time on my couch. I didn't want to be in that mass of people.
Let's see. Blake says he agrees the war room would be awesome as a fly on the wall, nervous wreck as a coach. I panic over my fantasy draft when on the clock. Could you imagine you panic over your actual team? You panic over your fantasy draft? Hunter wants to know the Bud Light girls running around. That's a Lance Taylor line there. They're running around.
Hunter, the Bud Light girls are not running around,
Uh-oh.
but the Twin Peak girls are. And
They
again,
are
you
indeed.
get a 29-degree Bud Light right now. We've got specials. Tell you what, if you come up, tap me on the shoulder, I'll buy you a Bud Light or Budweiser right now.
I work for you, little T.
Yeah, she already did it, so I took care of her. I'm about to get my second cold 29-degree Bud Light. But come join us. Twin Peaks is on the clock right now, and you can enjoy that scratch food and 29-degree beer. Again, we're located right behind the River Chase Galleria at the Patton Creek Shopping Centers, and we're going to be here at least until 7 o'clock.
Let's see. Pritch Law says Bryce going to have him crying tonight, RTR. He's going to go number one, first time in Alabama football history.
Well, I found out today from our friend Dr. B that Frank Reich is actually an ordained minister.
I think I've heard that somewhere before.
I'd never heard that, but he's a faith-based guy.
Yeah, I knew that. I
And-
think I heard he's an ordained minister.
Yeah, I think Bryce Young is the perfect fit for those guys.
Yeah, he seems to be.
And I think I've got confidence in Frank Reich. I think, when he was the offensive coordinator for Philadelphia,
Right.
I'll do it. Yeah. When he was the offensive coordinator for Philadelphia, they win a Super Bowl, and he goes and takes a job at the Colts. And I thought it was he never had great quarterback play. He was hamstrung with that. I think he's a pretty good coach. And I think with Bryce Young, I think Carolina and Atlanta are going to be the teams of the future in the NFC South. Because I think Arthur Smith's a pretty good coach.
Yeah, Tampa's in a rebuild, obviously. Yeah. I mean, the thing you got to watch right now is Derek Carr at New Orleans. I mean, they've got to be the favorite to win that division
this year.
Yeah, this year. But I don't know what the shelf life is on Derek Carr.
I mean, Kamara's probably got a couple of years left. Michael Thomas, it seems like it's already behind him.
Yep.
I would say that Derek Carr's got a couple of good years left. So New Orleans needs to, again, and we say this all the time about the Saints, they need to strike right now because that division is weak. But if the Falcons can get any type of quarterback play this year, they're starting to amass a lot of talent.
Yeah, they are. Let's see. Blake says he's hearing the Bills are interested in Dalvin Cook. He's a Bills fan. He can only hope. Well, I don't want to see that.
That's not fair.
I do not want to see that one happen.
I love Dalvin Cook, though.
Yeah,
he does seem to be banged up a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I guess most of the really good running backs are. But I like Dalvin Cook a lot.
Michael says Kuiper and McShay both have Anderson number 2. I think Anderson's probably the second best player. But, boy, I tell you what, man, when John McClain, who was wired in with the Texans, comes on our show and says, I think Anderson is the pick they should pick, but I do not think that's the way they're going. That caught my attention.
He's wired in. You're right.
I mean, he's even saying, look, I think it ought to be Anderson. This is not my bias. I'm just telling you what I think is going to happen.
I think they're playing possum a little bit.
Do you?
Mm-hmm. I think D'Amico, I guarantee he's had 20 conversations with Nick Saban about Will Anderson.
Oh, probably so. Lunsford, update on his fandom. He's between being a Panthers fan or a 49ers fan. He can't wait till we draft Bryce Young or we don't have a pick and I can sit back and just
Okay,
watch.
don't be a 49ers fan because that's kind of a front-running team right now.
Yeah, so you say go Panthers?
I would go Panthers because you're building a team and you can, go on that journey with them.
You were talking about failing a marijuana test or smoking a bong or whatever. Daniel says that devil's lettuce makes you money. Those guys you mentioned, Randy Moss, Warren Sapp, and who is the third?
Laramie Tunsil.
Yeah, they've all made some money.
And anybody in the chat room, I would appreciate the help. I don't recall a guy that dropped because of marijuana before, rumors, arrest, whatever, that was a bust. Didn't Alvin Kamara drop because of something like that?
Maybe so. I don't know. Well, he just didn't get a ton of carries. I mean, if you think about his time at Tennessee, he got none really at Alabama, but his time at Tennessee didn't get a whole lot of carries.
Isn't that amazing? And look, I know Alabama's running back room was absolutely stacked, but it's hard to believe that Kamara couldn't get on the field.
Yeah. B. Foshi says, take out the ACL injury and subtract 2 years from his age. Hooker's a top 5 pick. I kind of agree with that. I don't know how much the injury's hurting him, but you heard John McClain say it on the show earlier today that his age is hurting him. People don't like that he's old, and I'm with McClain. All right, he's 25. So what?
I mean, give me 10 years of quality quarterback play.
In 10 years, he's going to be 35. Aaron Rodgers is how old right now?
39.
39. And he's just moved to another team who's pumped about having him. Now, is Hooker going to be Aaron Rodgers? I don't think so.
Yeah, you got to remember.
What if he is?
How about this? Aaron Rodgers didn't play until he was 25 or 26.
Yeah, exactly.
So Hendon Hooker is, to me, a guy that, the spotlight's not going to be too big. I need to see a little bit more. I thought he was good at Virginia Tech until the injury. I thought he was fantastic last year until the injury. Okay, of the 5 quarterbacks, definitely Bryce is one.
Yes.
I think I would go CJ 2.
I think I would still go Stroud second.
CJ Stroud second.
Yep.
I think I would go Richardson third. I would go Hooker 4, and I would go Levis 5. I don't think this Levis thing's going to work out.
I mean, I'm inclined to put Hooker in front of Levis, too. Hooker's got a strong arm. They love his arm.
He didn't turn the football over last year. I think he had 2 or 3 picks the entire year.
And a lot of people, and you heard Clay say it even as a Tennessee fan today, what scares him was that Heupel system, or is Hooker that good of a quarterback?
Well, that's why I want to see more.
Yeah.
Because, Jalen Hyatt, that guy, and he's another guy that could slip in the first round tonight.
Well, he was open all the time for Hooker.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks that could have completed some of those passes.
Heath says, Brown, tell me that's a jumbo cocktail. That is a Diet Coke, my friend. That's my cocktail right there, a little Diet Coke. That's what that is. L Beach 34. I think the Colts should take the home run shot with Richardson and how stacked the AFC quarterbacks are.
Ooh. Problem is you swing and miss if you're the Colts. And
you're behind 4 years.
At least 4 years.
Yeah, that's what sucks about missing on quarterback.
And in the AFC, you've got to have an elite quarterback. You absolutely have to.
Yeah, you miss on running back, and it might set you back a year or two.
Yeah, I will tell you this. If I was Houston, I would take 2 and 12, and I would beg Carolina for that number 1. And I would take Bryce Young.
Yeah, but see, if I'm Carolina.
I mean, I wouldn't do it.
There's no way I'd do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would run. If I'm Carolina, you know what I would say? I'd spend the 2 and 12 on Bryce Young. So I'm not about to trade you so that you can get Bryce Young.
Yeah, so Bryce, you'll agree, if he doesn't get hurt, he's going to be a can't miss.
I mean, I hate saying any quarterbacks can't miss in the NFL. I mean, I like him. I like what he does.
He just reminds me of a small Mahomes a little bit. He's got
some of that,
such control. He floats or glides, however you want to put it. Pinpoint accuracy.
Yeah, I mean, he's a point guard on the field, but I just hesitate to say any quarterbacks can't miss anymore. I hate to say that. What time does it start tonight? John Jr. Blackshear asks.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock is the go time on TV. First pick. Ooh, there's some ice floating at the top of that. How good does that look?
29 degrees, my friend.
Is that ice, really?
Yeah, you want to sip?
No, thank you.
Okay.
But it's an icy cold Bud Light. See, I love, like, when you got Coke in the fridge and it gets that little thing of ice on it.
So there was a Chevron, and my old neighbor, Lucian Bingham, he owned it.
That is an interesting name.
It really is. But Lucian and Janelle Bingham, they live next door. Their son, Bart, I've talked about it before, where he kicked that guy in the throat in front of me when I was a kid.
Right.
It was a great fight. Right in the middle of the street.
How old were they?
Yeah, they were in their 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a man fight. It wasn't much of a fight. Bart was a pretty bad dude. But Lucian owned the Chevron across the street from what used to be Parisians and Sears in Vestavia.
Okay.
And we would go in there, and it was a full-service gas station, and he would always give me the ice-cold Coke bottle. You know, the bottle that had been used like 50 times. You could see, like, the scrapes and stuff on it when they would recycle them, but it always had ice in it. I mean, and you cannot beat an ice-cold Coke like that. You really
cannot. But now that looks good right there.
But an ice-cold Bud Light is right there with it.
Ice floating in that Bud Light. Tell me how good that's going to taste right there. Is that on point?
That's on point. Yeah. That's really good.
Fantastic. You got ice.
Well, yeah, ice coming down.
Ice coming. Man, that looks good.
That's a commercial beer is what that is.
It really is. You know, I mean,
till you take a picture of that and tell people what they're missing if they're not coming by.
There are few things, Lance, that like when I go like in a pizza joint and somebody's got an ice cold pitcher of beer, man, that looks good. I don't know why it looks better in a pizza joint.
So there were 2 pizza joints we used to go. We would go to Da Vinci's way back in the day, but Pizza Hut and Mr. Gaddy's on Valley Avenue. Mr. Gaddy's was the place after the games. But my old man, we would go, and me and my older brother Shane would get a pitcher of Coke, and the old man would get his own pitcher of beer. And there were some nights he got 2 pitchers of beer.
Just plowed through? Yeah, but that pitcher of Coke would have a little frost on the side of it. So that pitcher of beer, and then they'd bring you the frosted mug. Woo! Man, that looks good.
That was the only thing good about Chuck E. Cheese is they had pitchers of beer.
That's about it. I would have to agree with you on that one. Simon says, which team takes Tyler Buckner in the first round of the 2024 draft?
Whoever's on the clock at the end of the season, right? I don't think we've talked enough about this Tyler Buckner thing.
Well, we did several segments on it today. We do it again tomorrow.
I'm still amazed.
I mean, it's a move I didn't see coming. I got to tell you that.
I just really wonder, truth serum, if you sat down with Nick Saban and you gave him all of the quarterbacks in the SEC and he could select any of them, how long it would take him to get to Tyler Buckner? I guarantee he's not in the top 5 for Saban.
Probably not. I would have to say that, but he's apparently better than whatever Nick Saban has seen.
But as good as Jaden Daniels was last year for LSU, and as good as Stetson was, Bryce was so much better than either one of those guys.
Absolutely he was. But I will also say when Jaden Daniels transferred in, he played better than Tyler Buckner at one point. But not recently he hadn't.
Yeah, if this would have been Jaden Daniels coming from Arizona State, I would have said if you can get Jaden Daniels year one.
I mean, that's what we said about him going to LSU. Yeah, so you said the same
I
thing.
didn't think you would get it, though.
Yeah. Pro football. All right, so NH3425 says Duff Kleiman is reporting this. It is he retweeted Pro Football Talk.
Oh, son of a bitch.
That the Cardinals are trying to send the number 3 overall and Nuke Hopkins to the Titans for the number 11 pick plus more.
Wow. Well, look, I mean, if I'm a Titans fan, if I'm Lunsford, I jump back on board. DeAndre Hopkins still got a couple of good years in him, and that they will go C.J. Stroud too. I wish they'd shock the world and go Hendon Hooker or Will Levis.
I mean, Nuke Hopkins to the Titans. Let's talk about that though. What's that do for you? They got to have a quarterback to throw to him, but if they go quarterback here,
I still am shocked that A.J. Brown is no longer with them.
Yeah.
But Hopkins.
I mean, if the Titans go number 3 with Nuke Hopkins, they take whatever quarterback is there, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Probably they've got their choice between Stroud, Richardson, and
Levis.
It's
got to be Stroud if it's the Titans. I'm going to lose this bet. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. Dunaway on this roll that he's on is going to look like a genius.
That's pretty crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
That he's going to get that right. That is from Pro Football Talk, that trade rumor there. So the Titans, I was looking for their picks to see where they are after that trade, if they make that trade. They've got pick 11 in the first round, so that would take them up to pick 3. And then their other picks are 41, 72, 147 in the top 5 there, top 5 rounds. So I don't know what all they're going to have to get that number 3 spot and Nuke Hopkins. That's going to be a lot, wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
To get all that. So that's the report. Duff Kleiman and Pro Football Talk reporting that one. So keep an eye on that one. Lunsford says, I think that's old. I don't know if he was saying he's Titans. That was 12 minutes ago at least. Bob Sacramento says David Pollock's face looks like the trash can of a Brazilian wax shop. Okay.
Wow.
Don't know what that is.
Has Pollock been on tonight?
I haven't seen him. I think he's part of, the game day crew does some draft stuff. We need to talk about this Lamar Jackson deal too. I thought that was interesting. Pritch Law says the red carpet pre-draft stuff on NFL Network and ESPN is so corny, talking about grown dudes' outfits and stuff real lame. Yeah, you got to fill time somehow, man. Pritch Law then goes on to say Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to be the steal of the draft. If he goes outside the top 8, that guy is
I agree.
freaking awesome.
He is incredible. And you heard Clay Travis talking about Marvin Harrison, and if, we were throwing to Marvin Harrison, we could throw for 1,000 yards. Marvin Harrison is really good, but he is not Smith and Jigba. To me, Smith and Jigba at his peak was better than Olave, Garrett Wilson, and Marvin Harrison. I think he might be the best wide receiver I've seen from Ohio State since Chris Carter.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Chris Carter played 90?
No.
90,
before
91?
That, I think in the 80s. Well,
80s?
maybe.
No, I think you're right. I think it was 86, 87.
Yeah.
Was he on that 86 team that Alabama played? I think I remember watching him.
I think so.
Yeah, back in the day.
Terry Glenn was good for a minute.
Yeah. David Boston, he was a pretty good receiver. But
Joey Galloway was really good. I mean, Ohio State, if there is a receiver
it's Ohio State.
It's got to be Ohio State.
Alabama's put a lot out recently.
Last year was a complete dud.
It was. Alabama's put a lot out recently, but Ohio State's done it for 30 years now. They've been putting guys in the NFL.
Can you imagine?
Seems like defensive backs and receivers from Ohio State.
If Georgia ever gets good receivers?
A.J. Green was the last
he
really
was
good one they
great.
had, right?
Malcolm Mitchell was good.
Yeah.
Mecole
Hardman.
Yeah, Mecole was good, but he was underutilized. But the last, alpha primary guy was A.J. Green.
Daniel says, did Ricky Williams drop from Texas because of Mary Jane? No, he went pretty high still, didn't he? It was only in the league that he got screwed up because
he went
of the
number
weed.
one.
Did he go number one overall?
Dick had traded
to New Orleans. That's right. Dick
he traded every pick for that.
But it was only in the league till the weed started getting to him.
Yeah.
When basically the NFL was like, all right, you got two choices here. You can keep getting paid to play football or smoke all the weed you want. And he said, I'm going to take number two.
Yeah.
We're going to move to the Far East and we're going to smoke a lot of weed.
I mean, look, he enjoyed it. And you know what? I bet that guy's the picture of health right now. I really do.
I hadn't seen Ricky Williams in forever.
I bet he is.
I don't know. Bob Sacramento says Hooker in the Vol system doesn't convert to the NFL. And Georgia hammered him.
Georgia hammered everybody but C.J. Stroud.
That is right. I mean, if you're going based on the Georgia game, pick C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
He killed it.
Yeah, you're right.
Bruce says, that's Bruce Pitts, maybe the guy my brother went to high school with. I've known him. It's the same guy. 3 schools have had the top 2 picks in the NFL draft. 67, Michigan State, Bubba Smith went number 1.
Who's the second pick?
I don't know. Maybe he followed up. I'm going to need the other 2. Well, here, I'll pull these up.
I know 67 Michigan State was a good team.
That was.
I find it hard to believe they had the top 2 picks, but who knows?
Yeah, we're going to look this up on the plane.
Wow. So I didn't see the Lamar Jackson deal.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a deal with the Ravens. We'll talk about that in 1 second. Let's go 6-7 NFL draft, Lance. Here's the old draft listing from 1967. Bubba Smith and Clint Jones as a running back. That was your top 2 right there.
So that was legitimate.
Yeah, both from Michigan State.
Wow.
How about that? 1984 Nebraska, he says. 1984 Nebraska. I'm trying to remember who would have gone. That would have been the Mike Rozier draft. Did Mike Rozier go that high out of Nebraska?
Oh, yeah.
Very good running back in the old triple option system. Didn't really translate to the NFL, though, that much, did it?
It's amazing when you're selling your house that you get these instant reviews.
Yeah, you didn't really answer my question there.
I'm sorry. I got caught up because I just got somebody. And they said the floor plan proved to be too challenging for family members. You've seen my floor plan, right?
Where are you guys?
What in the hell?
Too challenging for family members.
I mean, I like their creativity.
Yeah. Irving Fryer and Dean Steinkuhler. Irving Fryer was the overall number 1 to the Patriots. Good receiver, but I can't believe he was the overall number 1.
He was really good. I mean, he was one of the guys that got them to the 1985 Super Bowl. No, they didn't fare well once they got there, but Irving Fryer was legit.
Yeah.
I think Irving Fryer's a Hall of Famer.
The crazy thing about that is he came out of Nebraska. They didn't throw the ball. They were running the triple option back then, and he was still the number 1 overall pick.
Let me see here.
And then the 2000 NFL draft, real quick. The top of that draft was Courtney Brown and LeVar Arrington, both out of Penn State. So there you go. To the Browns and the Redskins, respectively. Thank you very much, Bruce. That's the same guy. That's a Sachs graduate. So it shows you how smart people from Sachs are.
Oh, am I wrong? Yeah, I'm wrong.
AB from Huntsville says we all need a sober friend like Brownie in our life.
I agree. I think it's good to have a sober friend. Always have a DD.
If I'm ever driving, like last night, I had a dinner with business situation with our company, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we went to Fleming's, and I got an old fashioned on the top there. And that was it. Like if I'm driving, I'll only do 1 drink if I drink at all.
Well, it's very smart. I respect your discipline. And it's not like you really like it though.
What?
Drinking.
I like the taste of like an old fashioned.
Old fashions are great.
Yeah, they really are. And they've got a good one there, by the way. I got the smoked one. That's the ones I really like.
Yeah. I'll tell you the one at American Cut, the one that they do at the table.
Yeah.
Now they probably charge, I don't even know, $20 for it.
We found a new place we liked in Nashville, and they had a good smoked one too. Fantastic.
Was that Pushing Daisies?
It was.
Yeah.
I know if I wanted to tip off the general public to a place.
That's a good place.
Yeah. I like the crowd to be a little low when we go up there.
So Irving Fryer played for 17 seasons. Get this. I don't know why I'm in this wormhole of him.
Of who? Irving Fryer?
Yeah, because you did say he went number 1 overall in 1984.
Yeah, that's surprising to me. I remember him being a good player for the Patriots.
So he was 2-time second-team All-Pro. He was a 5-time Pro Bowler, which tells you nothing. The interesting thing, in 1984, he was the Japan Bowl MVP.
Oh, really? Well, that's why you drafted him number 1.
So did Nebraska play in the Japan Bowl?
I bet the Japan Bowl was an all-star game, if I had to guess. That's probably like an all-star game.
Yeah, now
You know
I'm going
what
to go
I'm
to
saying?
that rabbit hole.
Yep.
Japan Bowl. The Japan Bowl was a postseason college football all-star game, which was played in Japan from January of 76 to 93. I don't remember that. Do you?
I don't really remember anything about the Japan Bowl, no. But
I-
I've never really watched.
Senior Bowl, obviously, Hula Bowl,
Yeah, I've never
East
really watched most
West.
of those. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't remember.
Chip says he's reading the Titans are going to take Richardson with that pick. That's some of the speculation if they trade up to the number 3
I
there, as
hope
Pro
you're right,
Football Talk is reporting. Yeah. Lunsford, who is a Titans fan, depending on what hour you catch him. Hopkins is on his way out. It'll only be a couple of years at most. They'll probably end up with Levis somehow, despite jumping up to avoid him. Wouldn't that be funny if you jump?
It really would be.
We got to see Pollock now. Chris says Pollock's beard is struggling. I'm going to have to find a screen that's got David Pollock on. I don't see one right now here at Twin Peaks. Would Milroe play immediately at Auburn if he transferred? Non-NFL question there. If he's transferred and eligible, I think Milroe would start at Auburn.
Okay, here's what I got on that.
I think there'd be a little bit of a battle between. I think he's got to get a waiver, though, to get immediately eligible.
Here's what I got. Listen to y'all's discussion on Buckner from yesterday. I don't think Milroe can play at Auburn in 23. The deadline
He's
for
got to get a waiver.
intra-conference passed a few months ago.
It did, but
he would have to get a waiver
yep.
from Birmingham, and apparently Sankey has indicated no waivers will be given.
Yeah, and I don't doubt that that's the case, but I'm just saying there can be a waiver situation.
And I will tell you, if I'm an Auburn fan, I'm not like beat up about this.
Yeah,
Jalen Milroe is a great athlete, but his ball security is
not great.
It's not good.
Yeah.
And to me, he's one of those guys that will turn the ball over 2 times a game.
Right. All right. Tell them about Twin Peaks. We're Twin Peaks right there off of 459 behind the River Chase Galleria and the Patton Creek Shopping Center. We're going to be here till 7 o'clock hanging out. But we'll be on this show until 6 o'clock, and they got some great specials.
Yeah, right now, this 29-degree beer, you saw the ice coming down this Bud Light. We've got great Bud Light specials. We've got Bud Light swag just come up. Our social media director, Taylor, will direct you. We've actually got a table over here, but enjoy some of the scratch food. The Twin Peak girls are running around serving up that scratch food. Signature 29-degree Bud Light and Budweiser right now. And again, come see me, and I'll get you one.
I was going to pull up the details on this Lamar Jackson deal because
it's a big deal.
It's a big deal for him. A 5-year contract for Lamar Jackson. Word started leaking out today. $260 million, $185 guaranteed on the per year basis, average per year. It makes him the NFL's new highest paid player. Jalen Hurts got to be that for what, 2 weeks?
Yeah. Hey, look, you can always say that. I'd put that on my Wikipedia,
That's
wouldn't
right. You? Good run. But Lamar Jackson is staying in Baltimore. 5 years, $260 million, $185 of that is guaranteed. Your reaction to this is what?
I
kind of had to do it.
I think he deserves it.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people thought that there was a possibility the Ravens would trade Lamar Jackson in this draft tonight. They obviously aren't, and I'm interested to see what the Ravens do. I think pick 22, I think they try to get him a weapon. If Jackson Smith and Jigba falls that far, that would be an absolute steal for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, so get him to give a little weapon. I mean, he's got Hollywood Brown.
He's got Rashad Bateman, right?
Rashad Bateman. Trying to think of who else.
Mark Andrews is probably his best weapon.
Fantastic tight end, Mark Andrews. So, yeah, I mean, if Jackson Smith and Jigba is that guy.
Again, I think he's 1-3 in the postseason.
Yeah.
But I think Lamar Jackson is he's a really good regular season quarterback.
Yeah. That was a huge deal for him. It was a really uncomfortable, awkward situation for Baltimore. A lot of the speculation broke while they were at the owners' meetings, and John Harbaugh had to sit there and answer questions about it. So it had become a really difficult, awkward situation for them.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, inevitably they were going to get this done. Why not do it sooner?
I don't know, because you end up making him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL or the highest paid player in the NFL. So
probably
what were you waiting on?
Probably could have paid him less
if
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So it does kind of look weird, right, that it drug out that far. And I guess maybe, Lance, they were
you know who represents Lamar?
Himself.
Yeah.
At one point. I don't know if he's ever picked anybody up.
So, these agents do a really good job. But I think Lamar just proved, hey, if you're good enough, you can represent yourself and you can save that
Yeah.
3-4%.
Yeah, I wonder if it drug on so long because the Texans were trying to find out what they could do with him. And
Possibly.
maybe determined, well, we're not going to get the value we want out of him, so let's make him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL if we can't get the value for him. Cody hammering Herb Street with Botox, hair dye, and spray tan. He's always TV ready. My gosh, y'all are killing the ESPN people. Lunsford has sent me a photo of.
What do they say about me? Outside of my lighting
yellow
on the set, yeah, I'm yellow.
Yeah.
The kid's got jaundice.
There's Paul Spirit from Lunsford.
Awful. I mean awful.
What do you say about mine?
Yours is fine.
Thank you.
I've gotten accustomed to it.
I appreciate that, man.
Like I remember you more now with a beard than without.
Yeah, it would look weird without one. I've seen photos of me recently, like on your phone. You know how the photos pop up from
memories 5 years ago.
And it's like I can't even recognize myself.
Yeah,
without a beard.
I can't do the beard.
But I wonder when.
Too itchy.
I wonder when I go back. You know what I'm saying? Like, when do I say, yeah, that's enough of the beard. I'm going to go back to the smooth face. I may never do that. I don't know.
When it gets gray.
It's starting to get that a little bit right there. But, I'm old, man.
Yeah.
What else we got here? Matthew said, do you believe this? And I could see it being true that up until now, he read somewhere Taysom Hill had made more money in the NFL than Jackson.
Oh, yeah, his last contract. I can believe it.
Yeah.
You got to remember, Lamar just came off his rookie deal.
That's hard to believe. It seems like he's been in the league from Louisville longer than that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So this is his second contract.
Contract.
That makes sense when you think about it, but this is his second contract. Taysom Hill's made a lot of money in the NFL.
I mean, what a waste of money.
It really has not paid off, has it?
No, he's one of the highest paid players in all of sports, or most overpaid, I should say.
I would agree. I mean, Russell Westbrook was that in the NBA at one point.
Yeah, but Russell was still good. He's not a guy that was going to win you a championship.
Yeah,
I mean, he shot the Clippers out of the game the other night.
He was getting paid max money, though, wasn't he?
Yeah. NBA loves to do that, though.
Oh, I know.
There's too many guys that get max money.
Yeah, I mean, he was getting max money and was far from a Greek freak or a LeBron or a Steph Curry or somebody like that.
But he did average a triple-double for a season.
Yeah.
I mean, if you like numbers and, that's what your agent's going to sell. He did put up numbers.
I want to wow, Mr. B says we're on mute while Saban's on the ESPN draft special. I can live with that. It's okay. He's commenting on Buckner during game day on ESPN.
Oh, wow.
Y'all update us on what he says. Obviously, we can't
do.
hear it. We're doing a show here. I want to hear what he says about Buckner. I'm surprised that came up just because I figured they would be talking only draft. I want to go back. I was thinking about this, like Irving.
By the way, this is when you get the transfer. You get a guy in the portal when your head coach is on talking about Bryce Young and he switches and starts talking about Tyler Buckner.
I wanted to go back to this because I'm going to try. I was thinking about Irving Fryer, how high he went, and as you saw, that kind of threw me. Just some of the random number one picks.
Well, is that the only wide receiver to ever go number one?
I think it is, but I was
Keyshawn did.
Did he really at USC? The Jets took him number one overall.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking earlier, it's so weird. Little T's over here in a Bo Jackson jersey. And I was thinking the Falcons took Andre Bruce back in '88. That was he and Cam Newton are the most recent overall number ones, right, for Auburn?
Yeah.
And, I mean, just think about that for a moment. Andre Bruce was a great linebacker, a great college linebacker. But to take a linebacker number one overall, I don't know if you'll ever see that again. I mean, how good would a linebacker have to be to go number one overall?
Will Anderson's going to be pretty close tonight.
Yeah. And I guess
I think the Texans would.
They would have gone quarterback.
Bryce
See,
Young.
that's the whole thing. I mean, to see a linebacker go number one overall, but that was '88.
Well, if the Cardinals were number one overall, I think they would trade out.
Probably so.
But if they didn't,
boy, most of the time it's quarterback. That next year, Troy Aikman went number one overall. In 1990.
Well, here's the thing: if you're drafting,
George went number one overall.
If Jeff George ended up having a pretty good career.
Yeah, but it wasn't number one overall career, and he didn't have enough of it for the Colts for them to get value out of that. I don't remember watching him much at Illinois. Was he that good?
I did.
I mean, obviously, he got the number one.
He was the highest rated recruit coming out of his class.
Yeah,
and I think he originally signed at Purdue or Illinois. No, Purdue, and then or Virginia, and transferred to Illinois. I forgot which one it was. But I remember reading a big article back in the day in Sports Illustrated about Jeff George.
Dallas took Russell Maryland in the 1991 draft, number one overall.
He was
But going back, if anybody would take Aaron Donald right now with the number 1 overall, same position.
Well, and I was about to bring Aaron Donald up because Russell Maryland was an Aaron Donald type. Aaron Donald's 285 pounds, and Russell Maryland was an undersized defensive tackle. He was great at Miami.
You don't see this very often. The Colts had the first two picks in the 1992 draft.
Oh, I remember Steve Epman, and
I bet you can't name the next one. Played at Texas A&M back in the old Southwest Conference days.
Quentin Coryatt.
Very good. Very good. By the way, both those picks, bad picks.
Bad picks.
I don't think there's any way I'd want
Steve Epman would have been fantastic if he didn't get hurt. He was
had that
dominant.
weird. He was at Washington.
Yeah.
He played Washington.
He reminded me of a J.J. Watt.
Yeah, and he was that weird offensive lineman. Am I right? That was just he was all muscle. There was no fat on him.
No, he was defense.
Steve Emmett, who was? Oh, I'm thinking of
Tony. Tony Mandarich.
Yeah, Tony Mandarich.
Well, we had on the show and he smelled.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. I don't remember it smelling. Where were we?
We were in Arizona, in Glendale for
That's right.
Alabama Clemson.
Yep, that's right. I remember that now. How about I'm in a rabbit hole here. 1993, Patriots start with Drew Bledsoe out of Washington State. Great pick. But then Rick Meyer to the Seahawks out of Notre Dame. You remember him?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Rick Meyer is a really good quarterback at Notre Dame, and people thought he was going to be the next Joe Montana. Did not work out, by the way.
Yeah, you know what? He was not.
You remember Mark McGuire's brother, Dan McGuire, went top 5 to Seattle, I think.
Yeah. Dan Wilkinson, the next year, defensive tackle at Ohio State, was the first pick by the Bengals.
Big Daddy, complete bust.
And then the Colts, again, picking at the top of the draft, number 2, but they went Marshall Faulk that year. Great pick.
Got that right. I still can't believe, and the Rams never, ever win a Super Bowl without Marshall Faulk. Still can't believe they actually traded the Rams or traded Marshall Faulk.
What did you give up for him? Do you remember?
I really don't remember. It wasn't anything crazy.
In the next draft, Kajana Carter, running back, went number 1 pick. Big time bust.
Well, remember his first preseason game, like the first play, he blew his knee out.
Yep.
So that's what happened to Kajana Carter. I will tell you this: you will never see a running back go number 1 overall again.
I don't think you will
Ever.
either. I just think that position has changed so much. But I also remember,
it will be edge rusher or quarterback.
I remember
maybe offensive tackle.
I remember Corey Dillon was playing behind him.
Corey Dillon was good.
Corey Dillon was a good running back, and that's when he was at Cincinnati. And I'll never forget watching, I think it was a Sunday night game in Cincinnati. And Kajana Carter would come in, run into the line of scrimmage for a loss of 1. Dillon would come in, break off a 10-yarder. And they would rotate him. And every time Carter would come in, the crowd would boo.
Yeah.
And Dillon would come back in, the crowd would cheer. And Dillon had like 200 rush yards. And it was just the weirdest thing. Like, how can one guy do it that well and the other can't? By the way, how about the next 2 picks behind Kajana Carter? Tony Baselli, Jacksonville, great pick. Steve McNair, Houston, out of Alcorn State. 2 pretty good picks right there.
McNair at that point, so he's a Heisman finalist. We watched him in Alcorn. ESPN would even cover some of those games. He was so good, but you never really got to see him against big-time competition. So there was a little bit of a risk there. But he ended up being outstanding.
Yeah, the year, and this is a pretty good top 10 right here, or top 4 anyway. The year Keyshawn Johnson went number 1 overall out of USC to the Jets. You would say that was a good pick for the Jets. Number 1 overall, Keyshawn Johnson. They got pretty close to that kind of play out of him.
I don't know.
Jacksonville went Kevin Hardy at number 2. The linebacker
at Illinois.
Arizona went Simeon Rice. Fantastic pick, Simeon Rice. Fantastic pick. And then Baltimore went Jonathan Ogden. Ogden, Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I mean, Ogden's one of the top 10 offensive tackles of all time.
Yeah. Great top 4 right there.
Hey, I want to remind you, we've only got 6 more minutes live here, and we're with our friends at Bud Light. Come out, see us. We've got Bud Light swag. We've got Bud Light specials. 29-degree Bud Light on draft, the 22-ounces. Come enjoy that. The draft's going to be getting started in a little over an hour. We're going to hang out at least until 7 o'clock, so come see us.
Cody says, what beer is LT drinking? Bud Light, of course. You can look there in the bottom of the screen and see. We're a Bud Light show. Well, how about this? NH3425 says.
You know that I
slow him down a little bit.
You know that this is number 2 of my 22.
Yeah. We're at number 2.
But I got an Uber, so it's good.
Yeah. Ice cold Bud Light. Ice cold Bud Light. NH3425 says Broncos, Ravens, Seahawks, the only teams that ever had a number 1 pick. I'm going to trust his research there.
I believe the Ravens.
I can believe the Broncos. That's consistently a good franchise.
Seahawks surprises me a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, they were
I'm with you a little bit. Surprised on the Seahawks. They've had some bad years.
they were an expansion team.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s.
And when they were in the AFC before they swapped to the NFC, it seemed like they had some. Steve Largent, Dave Craig years back in the AFC. They weren't great teams.
Did they come into the league the same year that the Tampa Bay Bucks did?
I think they were in that same expansion. Yeah.
Because I'm just wondering because one of those two had to have the first overall.
Right. A lot of people forget the Seahawks were an AFC team. Their uniforms were better back then.
I agree. AFC West.
Yeah, out in the AFC West, and they just weren't they were never a very good. They played the King Dome.
No, they were good. They had a running back, Kurt Warner, who was out of Penn State.
Yeah, Steve Largent.
Jim Zorn, Steve Largent.
Dave Craig. Dave Craig was a good quarterback for them.
I'll tell you, Bosworth, after those guys' time, Bosworth was a really good linebacker early on. I'm trying to remember where he went in the draft. Supplemental draft, I think.
They were an expansion team in 1976 in the NFC. Then I've forgotten that they started the NFC and then flipped to the AFC.
Oh, I didn't remember
that.
No.
1976 in the NFC.
No,
from 77 to 01, they were in the AFC West.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, man, I did not remember that.
Things you learn.
That's all right. I did not remember that they started as an NFC team at first. So what are you asking me about? So that draft, 1976 NFL draft, Lance, real quick. I will tell you that Tampa did have the first pick. They went Leroy Selman, great pick.
Oh, yeah.
Seattle went Steve Niehaus out of Notre Dame.
Not a great pick.
Tackle, not a good pick. Chuck Muncie to the Saints.
Chuck Muncie was good, and then he had good years with the Chargers.
Joe Washington to the Chargers. Mike Haynes, Hall of Famer, to the New England Patriots. Not a bad top four there.
Nope.
All right, so let's get it on the record here. We all know Bryce Young's going number one overall. Nobody's going to doubt that one. Number two.
I think it's Will Anderson.
You're going to stick with Will Anderson. So John McClain did not scare you off from that.
Nope. Arizona's going to trade back.
It looks like it. They're going to trade, and Tennessee's going to go
C.J. Stroud. At 4, Indy will go Will Levis.
Indy will go Will Levis, number 4.
And at 5, I think Seattle goes Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter.
Yep.
Man, that is good for him, though, because that guy had slipped down and looked like he was going nowhere. So you think they're going to go number 5?
Look, there was an opportunity. I mean, Kuiper still thinks Jalen Carter's the best player in the draft.
Oh, I don't doubt that at all. I just think, number 1, he's not a quarterback, so he's not going to go number 1. And number 2, he's just got that baggage.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jalen Carter, watching him, looked like a bigger Aaron Donald this year.
Yeah. Samuel says, I cannot remember a player being as disliked as much as Levis. I don't know if disliked
I don't think that's the right word.
But I think doubted is certainly the word.
Yeah.
And
I think viewed as the most overrated quarterback that we've seen in years.
Yeah, I think people have had a lot of blowback towards him because they didn't see it, and everybody's saying he's going to be that guy. That's not his fault. I mean, now, it's his fault the way he played, obviously.
I would hope that he's playing with a chip on his shoulder. I want Will Levis to, have a really good career because I think it would be hilarious.
I kind of want the same.
I can't, what's weird about this is these draft experts have projected him in the top 10 for a long time now, but I still haven't heard anybody say why outside of upside and potential.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not on film. I mean, you can't look at the film.
Yeah, nobody's like, I'm in love with Will Levis. He's going to be a franchise quarterback, but they all say he's going to be a top 10 guy. It makes no sense.
Cody summarizing Nick Saban's quote here. We wanted to give our quarterbacks in our program every opportunity to win the job in spring practice. We felt like we needed to add some competition in that room. There you go.
That is a company line. But you got to figure that Saban does not want 5 quarterbacks. Hasn't had 4 on scholarship since 19.
There'll be a transfer.
Yeah, one of these guys, and that conversation has probably already been had.
Yeah. Heath says, didn't Piper, I think he means Kuiper, say Rick Meyer was going to win 3 Heismans in a row? That was actually Bino Cook.
It was Ron Paulus.
Yeah,
well, it was Bino Cook for Ron Paulus.
Paulus.
So Heath was in the ballpark.
He would start at Notre Dame as a freshman, contend for the Heisman, and then win 3 in a row.
I feel really safe saying nobody will ever win 3 consecutive Heismans.
I would say the same thing. And by the way, Ron Paulus won exactly 0.
Yeah, he did.
And really didn't even have a productive career at Notre Dame, to be honest.
I mean, Tony Rice was a better quarterback.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. All right, so NFL Draft is coming up in about an hour. You can watch that, of course, on NFL Network with our buddy DJ. Fox will have it with our buddy Joel Klatt.
Do you have a lean where you watch?
We'll have it with our buddy Dan Orlovsky. I kind of bounce around a little bit. There's guys I like on all of them.
I'll put them on different TVs, and then whenever I see something I want to
Yep.
Few, I'll put it on bed.
Yeah, I like Klatt, so I like supporting him. I love DJ. He's been a friend for a long time, so I love supporting the NFL Network with him.
DJ and Klatt are both awesome. Klatt will be on tomorrow, right?
He's supposed to be. Still don't have a time from him, but we'll see. He's on tomorrow. So, yeah, I'll kind of bounce around a little bit. Just depends on what's going on. And then, I like Reese and the college guys on ABC.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of places you can find it. You can't miss the NFL.
Well, and I don't want to say it's a top 10 event for me every year. It used to be. I used to get checked out of school. They used to do this draft on a weekday in the morning.
I know.
And I would miss school every year.
How would you follow it? It was on TV then?
It was on ESPN.
Okay.
Yeah, I started watching the NFL draft in 1980, 81, and I would get checked out of school every year for the NFL draft.
Yeah.
And then it went prime time.
Well,
can you believe this league used to have a draft during the week, in the morning?
In the morning during the week. And now it's outside of the Super Bowl, outside of any actual game, it's the biggest thing they do.
Yeah. And look, it's to me, it's super exciting.
Yeah, I agree. I like it better when my team's picking.
Yeah,
I'll still watch this.
I do too.
All right, thanks to our friends at Bud Light.
We tell Michael, Chuck was not a Rams fan, my old man.
Well, who was he for?
He was a Raiders guy.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of people that generation were. My dad kind of liked
he was a big Raiders guy.
Some of that was, I think, Kenny Stabler related.
I will tell you, the last Super Bowl Chuck saw was my Rams beat the Bengals. And he watched from a hospital bed.
How about that?
And he congratulated me. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that is cool. All right, so Twin Peaks draft is coming up. We're finished with this show. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube if you're watching. Make sure you subscribe and set your alerts. But Twin Peaks is going to be here all night, man.
Yeah, Twin Peaks, much more than your typical sports bar. Their lodge welcomes every guest with just incredible food. The scratch food, signature 29-degree beers, whether it's lunch, happy hour, dinner, guests can expect made from scratch menu items capable of satisfying every single appetite. And remember, NFL draft tonight, Bud Light is out here with us. We've got Bud Light specials, whether you want to go with the regular bottle or you want to go with the 29-degree draft. Can't go wrong with either one of these, but come join us tonight. We've got swag. We're going to hang out for a little bit longer.
All right. Enjoy the draft. We'll talk about it tomorrow morning. We'll see you at 9 o'clock. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to Twin Peaks. Thanks to Bud Light. See you tomorrow morning. Everyone, have a great night.